Welcome back, everyone. Next, we will start our course of Section 3, the definition of supply. A supply is more than just having the resources and technology to produce something. Resources and technology are the constraints that limits what's possible. Many useful things can be produced, but they are not produced unless it is profitable to do so. Supply reflects a decision about which technologically feasible items to produce. The quantity supplied of a good or service is the amount that producers plan to sell during a given time period at a particular price. The quantity supplied is not necessarily the same amount as the quantity actually sold. Sometimes, the quantity supplied is greater than the quantity demanded, so the quantity sold is less than the quantity supplied. Like the quantity demanded, the quantity supplied is measured as an amount per unit of time. For example, suppose that the GM produces 1,000 cars a day. The quantity of cars supplied by GM can be expressed as 1,000 a day, 7,000 a week, or 335,000 a year. Without a time dimension, we cannot tell whether a particular quantity is large or small. Many factors influence selling plans, and again, one of them is the price of the good. We look first at the relationship between the quantity supplied of a good and its price. Just as we did when we studied demand, to isolate the relationship between the quantity supplied of a good and its price, we keep all other influences on selling plans the same and ask, how does the quantity supplied of a good change as its price changes when other things remain the same? The law of supply provides the answer. The law of supply states, other things remaining the same, the higher the price of a good, the greater is the quantity supplied, and the lower the price of a good, the smaller is the quantity supplied. Why does a higher price increase the quantity supplied? It is because marginal cost increases. As the quantity produced of any goods, why does a higher price increase the quantity supplied? It is because marginal cost increases. As the quantity produced of any good increases, the marginal cost of producing the good increases. It is never worth producing a good if the price received for the good doesn't at least cover the marginal cost of producing it. When the price of a good rises, other things remaining the same, producers are willing to incur a higher marginal cost, so they increase production. The higher price brings forth an increase in the quantity supplied. Let's now illustrate the law of supply with a supply curve and a supply schedule. We are now going to study the second of the two more used curves in economics, the supply curve. You are also going to learn about critical distinction between supply and quantity supplied. The term supply refers to the entire relationship between the price of goods and the quantity supplied of it. Supply is illustrated by the supply curve and the supply schedule. The term quantity supplied refers to a point on supply curve, the quantity supplied at a particular price. Supply is illustrated by the supply curve and the supply schedule. The term quantity supplied refers to a supply is illustrated by the supply curve and the supply schedule. The term quantity supplied refers to points on supply curve. the quantity supplied at a particular price. Figure 3.3 shows the supply curve of energy bars. A supply curve shows the relationship between the quantity supplied of goods and its price when all other influences on producers' planned sales remain the same. The supply curve is a graph of supply schedule. The table in Figure 3.3 set out the supply schedule for energy bars. A supply schedule lists the quantities supplied at each price when all the other influences on producers' planned sale remain the same. For example, if the price of energy bar is $0.50, the quantity supplied is 0. In row A of table, if the price of an energy bar is $1, the quantity supplied is 6 million energy bars a week. In row B, the other rows of table shows the quantities supplied at prices of $1.50, $2, and $2.50. The supply curve can be interpreted as minimum supply price curve, a curve that shows the lowest price at which someone is willing to sell. This lowest price is the marginal cost. If a small quantity is produced, the lowest price at which someone is willing to sell one more unit is low. But as the quantity produced increases, the marginal cost of each additional unit rises. So the lowest price at which someone is willing to sell an additional unit rises along the supply curve. In Figure 3.4, if 15 million bars are produced each week, the lowest price at which someone is willing to sell the 15 millionth bar is $2.50. But if 10 million bars are produced each week, someone is willing to accept $1.50 for the last bar produced. Above all are the contents of the third section. Thanks for your listening.